coming. And we'd like to begin the meeting tonight with the call to order.
President Gerard,
Here.
Vice President Burns,
Present.
Councilmember Ferguson,
Here.
Councilmember Hawk,
Here.
Councilmember Weiss,
Here.
Mayor Gerard,
Here.
Junior Councilperson Chicano Poland here, Junior Councilperson Thomas, Borough Manager Snyder,
Here.
Borough Solicitor Harper.
Here.
And if we could all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation, Pepe, if you would like to do that.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. God our Father, you guide everything in wisdom and love. Accept the prayers we offer for our nation. In your goodness, watch over those in authority so that people everywhere may enjoy freedom, security, and peace. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
All right. Hopefully everybody is dry after the storm tonight. All right, item one, we need the approval for the meeting agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda of the May 20th, 2026 regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Ferguson, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item two, the approval of the minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the April 1st, 2026 workshop meeting, the April 15th, 2026 regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have the motion by Councilperson Ferguson and seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item three, public input. If there's anybody here who would like to make any comments or speak to us, I'd ask you to please come up to the podium, state your name and address, reason for addressing council. Make sure that the green light is on the microphone. All right, no one? All right, item four, the announcements.
Next council meeting, June 17th, workshop regular meeting at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. Planning commission is scheduled to meet on June 22nd at 6 p.m. in council chambers. PROC is scheduled to meet Wednesday, May 27th at 8 a.m. in council chambers. The Hatfield Legion Post 933 Memorial Day Parade is scheduled for Monday, May 25th at 9 a.m. The borough offices will be closed on Monday, May 25th in observance of the Memorial Day holiday. The Hatfield Museum Historical Society is scheduled to meet on Tuesday, May 26th at 7 p.m. in council chambers. The Hatfield Borough offices will be closed on Wednesday, May 27th from 12 to 1 p.m. for employee training. Hatfield 250 Living History Day is scheduled for Saturday, May 30th at 10 a.m. at School Road Park. And Founders Day celebration is scheduled for Saturday, June 13th from 12 to 4 p.m. at Centennial Park. A lot going on. Come on out.
All right, thank you very much. Item five, the revised core commercial text amendment application submitted by WB Homes Land Acquisition LP for 41 North Market Street.
Good evening. My name is Chris Canavan. I'm the president of WB Homes. As I believe my colleagues who were in front of you at your previous meeting with regards to our request for a text amendment that would affect your core commercial zoning district, but immediately affect the property that we are equitable owners of at 41 North Market Street. I believe they gave a thorough presentation and there was robust discussion on that, both here with council and previously with the planning commission. We've had since an opportunity to meet with staff to look at some of the revisions that were appropriate for the ordinance language that came out of both planning commission discussion and the council discussion. This evening, I believe there is a refined version of that ordinance that would be in a form that could be authorized to advertise for a future hearing by this council. And I'm happy to answer any questions that council may have since the last meeting.
Your package should include the formal text of the ordinance, which incorporates basically everything that the engineer had suggested and everything that the planning commission had suggested. The formal one has a lot of whereases in it, not this one, which is also in your packet, okay?
There's like a green paper and then it says draft ordinance behind it.
Right, okay, it looks like this.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's on the ordinance, point 4. Architectural requirements, point 4, it said, when a side elevation of a residential building fronts an existing public street.
Correct.
So isn't that applicable here?
It is.
So will there be a front entrance then? Or
What we will do is, the way these, who's controlling this? I'm sorry. If we could go, right here.
There.
So the way these are oriented, the 3 units that will be adjacent to North Market Street, that would technically be what would be a side elevation under our current architecture. What we would add to that side elevation would be a little porch and a front door, so that when you're driving down North Market Street, that would appear to be a front of a unit as well. So they'll have basically two man doors, as we like to call them, context to the use of that, but so that people would be able to leave directly from the side of the elevation, walk right out to the sidewalk in North Market Street, and keep an appropriate streetscape.
okay, because when you looked at the site, the plan you gave us before, it looked like everything was a front entrance.
Just to be clear, and I know this was that was never our plan. There was someone, I think, previously who had looked at this site that had a different orientation for this project
Okay.
that floated it, but that was not us, nor was that a plan that we had put together, nor did they have the property under agreement.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But to be fair, it was suggested either by the planning commissioner or the engineer that you put front-looking siding on, or front-looking spaces on the main.
Yeah, on each of these, and
Who agreed to that?
we agreed to that, and that was if anybody would like to see a version of that too, in the borough of Ambler, just to the east of the Ambler train station on what is actually Main Street, although it's not what the Main Street for Ambler.
Right.
We had a similar situation with where we had integrated a townhome community between Main Street and what is the SEPTA rail line, running it in this same way. And on those side elevations, we have that same configuration with a appropriate front door and a little porch. So it feels like a front when you're driving down the street. And it's appropriate in this case because it would give people who are living there direct access to the sidewalk, and we are encouraging pedestrian activity here, not necessarily always hopping in your car to go somewhere.
If you don't mind, can you send that information to the borough so that way we have it if those questions come up?
Yep.
And then we can see an example.
I'll send you a picture of it with it and then just the address so that there's an easy reference to it.
Okay, great,
Happy
thank
to
you.
do that.
From a legal point of view, you have no objection to the language in the
No,
draft.
the ordinance, we fully understand the architectural requirements within the ordinance, and we're 100% supportive of doing that.
I have one other question, and I believe, I just want to refresh my memory, you may have been already answered. The shrubbery on the out, surrounding the upper portion and the parking lot portion, and also the trees along the street. They are going to be the responsibility of the homeowners association there for maintenance and.
That is correct. So this will be a planned unit development. The unit owners will only own the footprint of their building. They'll have responsibility for their driveway. All landscaping, all lawn areas, all of the buffering landscaping and street trees will be the homeowners association responsibility, with enforcement by the borough to make sure that they do continue to maintain it properly.
And is there any sort of a schedule? For example, would they be trimmed twice a year or whatever?
That, we don't get into that level of detail. We basically require them to do proper maintenance on their property. And that would be something though, particularly with like street trees near the sidewalk, would be something that's appropriate for them to trim properly, or if there's notice from the borough that something's hanging low, that they would have a certain period of time in which to rectify it.
And also the sidewalk along Market Street, who's responsible for clearing that from snow in the winter time?
Homeowners Association.
Okay.
And all of the, we have to work out the arrangement with the fire company yet on, things such as maintenance and snow removal from the parking area. That'll be an easement on our property, but that's something that would either be something jointly with the fire company and the homeowners association.
Right.
No, the only thing the individual unit owners will be responsible for is clearing their individual driveway. The alleyways and all the other things will be part of the association.
And how does, sorry, Rich, go ahead. Oh, and how does it work? So, the roadway closest to the homes that's facing the firehouse where you have an in and out there.
Yes.
How is that broken out as to homeowners versus the firehouse's responsibility?
That would be something that we still need to have in a reciprocal easement agreement that we will have to draft about whose responsibility is where. What I would believe will end up happening, and I have no problem even committing to this. Can I walk away from the microphone, or does that screw everybody else?
I was gonna suggest you show where the property line is, Chris.
So the property line is right here on the site. We would want a reciprocal easement agreement so that people can access both of these driveways. I would believe the association will be responsible for this paving and parking area here, at least from a snowplow removal standpoint. There may be some shared responsibility for future repaving at, some point down the road because of the use of it. But that would be the way we would define that. So, and we'll have that clearly done. Part of our land development application, we would work through that so that we can then put it in a form that the borough staff and solicitor could review so that they know that there is an appropriate legal document. So it's not left up in the air for
Right.
someone else to litigate at some point in the future.
Right, I get that.
And we want an easement recorded.
Yeah.
Which we could require as part of land development when we get that far, if we get that far.
And we would do that as part of, and we would need to have that so that when we're selling our units, as part of our homeowners association documents, that easement would need to be one of the responsibilities within that legal document.
So they fully understand, yeah.
So that everybody, it's disclosed to them what's happening.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And is there, and so then going to the roadway that's closest to the firehouse, are those arrows right and left reversed, or is there a divider between those two?
That is, quite frankly, an error from our engineer who
Okay.
didn't reverse it.
So that's fine. I noticed that and I was like, wait a minute. Okay.
It's either that or we're in England.
Well, when you switch, it's like on one road you're correct and on the other, that was an error on our engineer's part. I apologize.
That's okay. And then the last question, and I'll be quiet because everyone knows I can talk and talk. Are we, as part of this, are we doing traffic studies on the road as part of this? I mean, you typically, when you're doing a development, there has to be traffic studies. I'm assuming that's part of this as well?
What we would probably, a 15-unit development generally doesn't trigger a traffic study. What I would suspect we would do as part of our land development, there's obviously an existing commercial operation here. Generally, what we would generate is a trip generation letter that would show what is currently being generated or could be generated by the uses, and then what is going to be generated by the new uses. And then we would look at any impacts between those two.
Okay.
So it might not be what would be a full-fledged one, but
Great. That's a good idea, but Market is a PennDOT road, so you're gonna need a highway occupancy permit from them as well.
Exactly, and that would be
Okay,
whatever they require, we will need. There are currently multiple points of access, obviously, on the North Market Street
Mhm.
from this property. We'll be confining them to a little bit different access points. So we will need to amend that permit with PennDOT to show that.
Yeah, I would imagine even if you did a traffic study based on the numbers, it would still come out to be very, very, very low.
Correct.
Based on even adding the 15 units and 30 vehicles, twice a day, yada, yada. But I just wanted to ask that question.
It creates a different, what will happen there is it'll create a slightly different traffic pattern from your peaks versus a commercial operation, which has a more continuous operation throughout the day. Although what we have seen, it's interesting, the traffic studies now, since COVID and since the work at home or partial work at home, the peak hour has, the number of cars at peak hour has gotten smaller, but the peak hour has actually attenuated. It's gotten longer.
Yeah.
So, it's people aren't leaving all within the same, 45-minute time period. It's a much longer span, which
Yeah.
is just an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
hold on for 1 second.
So,
Sandra just got a letter.
so Borough Council and Mayor Gerard received a letter this evening from the Hatfield Museum Historical Society, which I believe that you all maybe had a brief chance to read. Would you like that entered onto the record tonight before you make a vote to move this forward? If you do vote to move this forward, this still goes to a public hearing, like that's not saying that you're approving this text amendment. It's just, I wasn't sure if you would like me to read that, if you would just like it summarized, how would you like to?
Why
handle that?
don't you just read it?
Would you like me to read it?
And I should point out, it's from Larry Stevenson.
Correct, yes, it is.
He's here, so I don't know what, Larry, would you rather read it?
No, go ahead.
Okay, sometimes they feel like called out.
You.
The letter is dated May 14th to Hatfield Borough Council and Mayor regarding the text amendment application for 41 North Market Street. I'm writing this letter not only for myself, but as president of the Hatfield Museum and History Society, and on behalf of the board of directors and members of the society. We believe that tearing down the historic building located at 41 North Market Street to be replaced by a townhouse development would be counter to the desires of much of the Hatfield Borough community. The building, the former estate of George S. Snyder Hardware Store, was built in 1939 and was, for many years, the store that people of Hatfield and beyond, in a time before Lowe's, Home Depot, and the internet, went to buy supplies for building and maintaining their homes. In addition to hardware, the store sold lumber to build Hatfield's homes, coal to heat them, and feed the animals raised on Hatfield's farms. Two different community surveys completed recently by Hatfield Borough residents, the Hatfield Borough Survey of 2024 and the Montgomery County Planning Commission Survey of 2025, both showed that people of the borough want to retain the historic character of the town. 89% of the 286 people responding in the 2024 survey indicated that this was important to them, and the 2025 county survey again showed that this rated high for borough residents. We would encourage the borough, when considering any development plan for this property, as well as for any other property in the borough, to make a condition of that development, the retention of older buildings on the property, or at least the facade. We also encourage the borough to perhaps place additional restrictions in its ordinance to make the demolition of the town's architectural character more difficult for developers. So again, we encourage you to either take no action or reject the text amendment application that is before you. Sincerely, Larry Stevens, President of the Hatfield Museum History Society.
Thank you. Larry, would you want to say anything, or you pretty much have everything now? Okay, all right. I think we can all take that under consideration, for the upcoming decision that we're going to be making on this project. So we appreciate your input, Larry. Thank you.
This is on the agenda for a vote later this evening to see whether you want it advertised for a specific hearing date. You could do that now if you're ready, or we can wait. It's up to you.
Why don't we just wait, finish
Wait,
up everything?
sure,
Yeah.
okay. That's fine.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item, item 6, the public hearing for the Verizon Cable franchise agreement.
Right. Okay, like me to help out with this one? We're doing the public hearing on Verizon right now. Yeah, okay. So we can open a public hearing, and we don't have a court reporter, but we are going to have very complete minutes. So I'm glad that we are recording this so that we can get very complete minutes to do it. We do have a statement that I think was given to us by Verizon. Can you find that? And I can read it into the record, although most of you have probably read it in your packets. This is a public hearing of the Borough Council regarding the cable franchise renewal for Hatfield Borough. This public hearing is held pursuant to Section 626 of the Federal Cable Act, which sets forth the process for franchise renewal. The borough's current franchise with Verizon is within the industry norm renewal window, and the borough is beginning the process of renewing the franchise. I got to be honest with you. You have special counsel on this. and the negotiations have largely ceased, and we are ready to present the actual contract for a hearing. However, we have to do this public hearing in case anybody has objections to either the contract or has things they want discussed. So, the public hearing is part of the preliminary portion of the franchise renewal in which the borough reviews the cable operator's past performance and identifies the borough's future cable-related community needs. As such, as part of this hearing, we invite comments from any citizens who wish to speak regarding either or both of the aforementioned subjects. In that regard, I will point out that we did advertise the public hearing for tonight, and we should ask for public comment later, okay? Franchise renewal is the best opportunity for municipalities to assert their rights with respect to the cable operator and obtain important benefits in return for granting the cable operator the right to use the public rights of way. The truth is, we also have a pole agreement with that, don't we? Not with Verizon. Okay, we do with some of the others. They pay us for using our electric poles, okay? The benefits include a state-of-the-art cable system now and in the future, strong customer service standards, free services to community facilities, better reporting requirements from the cable operators, maximize franchise fees, which we get as a borough, public educational and government channels if desired, and support if desired, and legal protections on the right of way and better mechanisms to enforce the franchise agreement. The contract does contain standards, and if we get customer complaints, there is a way for us to send them to Verizon and get a response from Verizon if customers come in and complain. I have not seen that in Hatfield. I have seen it elsewhere. People come in and say that their cable service cut out or something like that. And, you know, if we get such a complaint, the contract does provide a mechanism for us to make those complaints to Verizon.
Does the office staff get complaints?
No, not recently. I would say previously to the last contract, before streaming became more of a thing and people had like cable television, there were more people questioning more the fees that were associated with which Hatfield Borough doesn't control the billing for the cable. Not that they couldn't get service, not the interruption in service, more the fees. And previously on both Comcast and Verizon bills, our address was listed as a place to pay the bill. So people would come in here and try to pay the bill. And then we would just hear them talk about like their cable television. But no, not in several years have I had any complaints about the services.
Right. So let me just finish the statement and then we'll go on to other things. There was another paragraph, and I do have to say this came from Verizon, basically through our special counsel that we hired. And we used somebody who was doing work with other municipalities. Cohen, right, out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right. So we save money on that, okay? Okay, so these are the potential benefits available for franchise renewal. Citizens may address these items or any other cable-related items that are important to them. And we will have to take, we have to open the hearing for citizen comments. But first, we can take them from Borough Council, and then I'm going to give this back to Council President to ask for comments from Borough Council and from the public. Okay? Great.
Right?
I think the mayor had a question.
I have a question about point 3, free services to community facilities. Do we take advantage of that? Do we have any, point 3, free services?
We do. We have, depending on both with Comcast and Verizon, one of our buildings can have free internet. And then like a free peg channel, like a free government channel that we do not pay.
They also provide service like to the Public Works Department.
They
Or
do.
is it
You only
just-
one address in your community can receive free service.
So you can't do both the Borough Hall and the Public Service Building.
No, you cannot. Only one physical address gets free service. That's the same with Comcast.
I wonder if we could put Comcast as the free service to the Public Works building.
That one is because they're our internet provider. Here, our phones is Verizon. We have Comcast internet.
Okay.
All right. So do we want to take this further now, or do we want to just,
Right, well, this is the public hearing, so
Yeah.
we should take public comments if there are any, and, is it on for approval tonight?
No, you don't have to approve this public hearing, it's a comment period for the elected officials and a comment period for, the residents. I will take any feedback, like I will take the mayor's question and I will just let Cohen know that, hey, we asked and maybe you can get more free services, like what, if, the borough uses, can the telephones at the Public Works be free if we use Comcast for internet here? Like, we can take that feedback, so any feedback we gather from this meeting, we just take to Cohen and they incorporate that as part of our contract negotiations. So that's what the hearing is for, just to gather feedback and questions if we want to take as part of our contract negotiations. So there's no action needed.
okay,
What's the length of this contract? The
Mostly they're 10 years.
10 years, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about the comment you made when you answered my first question, and it is most people are going away from the cable thing, anymore, they're
Internet.
streaming, or, yeah, exactly. Is there a way for us to get out of it if we wanted to before the contract's up or not?
There might be a clause I'd have to, when they
Probably not,
give us the agreement,
Yeah.
I don't think so,
Okay,
but
but here's the other thing, it doesn't really cost us anything, it does pay us something,
okay,
and it's not a hassle for us.
okay, so it's not something that we're paying.
no,
Okay,
we make roughly in franchise fees, $20,000 a year from Comcast and $20,000 a year from Verizon, as part of like having a franchise fee. Used to be a lot more,
Right.
but when cable has gone down, so has the pricing that we've received.
okay. All right,
Yeah.
so they're saying,
Yep.
okay,
that
so.
answered my
So
question.
here's a question too. Now, this says, the Verizon cable franchise agreement. Does this include FiOS? Because FiOS and cable are two completely different things from my understanding. Like where I live, I've got FiOS internet. I don't have cable. I mean, I don't have cable period, but for me to get cable, I can get it through FiOS itself. So does this include FiOS or does this just the cable?
More for your cable television. They do talk about like internet services and providing internet. Most of those talk about like middle of the state in Pennsylvania and like people that cannot receive like BIOS, like if you're underserved in your community and those type of things. But yes, the cable.
Okay.
But we get some benefit from them, because we get some Verizon services for internet.
Yeah, because you can have it either way. You can have it through cable or on FiOS.
Right. There are places in rural PA that don't get a good enough service internet wise, so
Yeah.
they have to run a line.
And they do, as part of the contract, when we went through it previously, they do kind of like pinpoints on the map, like where Verizon has updated their services at. Because when we went through it many years ago, they were the only ones that were coming through with like fiber lines. Like that was a Verizon thing, that wasn't a Comcast thing, and broadband wasn't even existing when we did this. Previously, it was just coming to like fruition. So they do kind of target and put like different pinpoints on the map to see if people are underserved, and they go out and talk, and so they do research to make sure that your community is serviced in the best way possible.
Okay, any other comments or questions on this before we close it out or further
Get
discussion?
to ask the public.
Folks, anybody here?
The record should reflect that there is no member of the public who made a statement.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, item 7, new business and discussion items. Item A, the conditional use hearing for 332 Edgewood Drive, oversized garage.
332 Edgewood Drive submitted a conditional use application for an oversized garage. This is the corner property of Edgewood and Town Menson. I do not believe anyone's in attendance tonight from the property. They're looking to hold a conditional use hearing in June. They will come to ask council to consider allowing them to build a 1,500 square foot shed which is roughly 500 square feet larger than their current shed that they had taken down. They do have a decent sized property, back there, does not any zoning violations, but they do have to go to conditional use because it's over, the 700 square feet that's allowed for accessory structures. So, we're just asking tonight for consideration to hold a public hearing on June 17th, to hear the conditional use application.
I would ask for one thing for the hearing that I thought about over the weekend when I was reading this. They indicate that they had a previous oversized garage.
Yeah.
So we should pull out the conditional use decision from that for the next packet so that y'all have it when we do the hearing. Okay?
Was that on that property or? was
Yeah, that's what the application indicates, that they had an oversized garage on this property. So I think you should see whatever the previous.
So what did they do? Tear that down or
Yeah,
something?
once it's
So it was falling apart.
I will look for it. I am not sure that when we decided that accessory structures went to conditional use and did not go to zoning, that they already did not have a shed or they didn't have something previously, but I'll certainly look in the file and putting a note in now to see if they applied for anything, how it was approved.
Yeah.
Cause I know, since I've worked here, we decided to move accessory structures to, council for conditional use instead of zoning to try to help the residents along,
Yeah.
right.
but I will look.
Just check,
Yeah.
only because there may be some condition that you want to impose or something like that. Or even on a zoning decision, there could have been a
I'm
condition.
thinking it might have been zoning if there was something. Also, I thought about having Ryan ask the applicant to provide some samples. I know that council likes to see what could it possibly look like. These were nice drawings that they provided, but doesn't give any, indication of what style, what it would look like, how big, like it would look in the neighborhood. So I was going to ask Ryan to tell the applicant to provide some of those for the next packet for the hearing.
And when you get to it, it's an action item to authorize the advertisement, but we really do have to do it. They gave us an extension. But the municipality's planning code does require us to hold a hearing within 60 days and then issue a decision.
Right.
When I look at the diagram that's here, it almost looks like there's gonna be a second story there. Is that,
It looks like the,
because there's joists, it looks on the side, but it looks that there's an open space up there, so I guess it's 2 stories?
Yeah, I thought maybe it kind of looks similar to what the accessory use that was approved for 390 West Vine Street, the 2-story one.
Yeah.
Maybe not that height or large, I think he asked for height restrictions too, but, yes, that could be, I would agree that it looks like that, just the way that it's drawn out. That's why I think maybe photos would help of what you're kind of looking at.
Great,
And I
and
don't
the zoning
recall,
officer should probably write a memo to Borough Council and the applicant, tell them what the height requirements are. Okay, so.
Yeah, he can outline it, yes.
So that you're all familiar with that, in case it comes, out in the hearing. Okay?
so that was my question, is I don't remember, did the height violate it or just the square footage? Or,
Square footage.
I know square footage, but,
According to our zoning officer's rejection,
okay,
but I don't know whether he knew what the height was.
okay,
So whether he considered that or not.
yeah.
So the zoning officer didn't see the schematic when he put that together,
Yeah, he received this application.
but that's fairly clear that it's a very peaked second story.
You're right.
Looks
Yeah, I
like
believe he said
it
it's,
says not to scale.
700 square feet in area or 15 feet height shall be a conditional use.
I'm
So if
seeing
it's
here
above
that,
15 feet, that's another reason he has to go to conditional
right,
use.
but I'm seeing here the middle line there, it says it looks like here, 19 feet from the bottom up to the peak.
Yeah.
So,
So that'd be.
Yeah, I see that as well. You're right. It says 19 feet. Let's have the zoning officer look at it
Yeah,
and give clear direction on what's permitted or not.
Yeah, I think that his letter said 700 square feet in area or 15 feet in height. If you are over either of those, you have to go to
oh,
conditional.
okay, so also the height
Okay.
has to be
Yeah.
either or and.
Yeah,
And
he
we
should have
would-
wrote and or instead of just, how you write and
Yeah,
or.
okay.
And when you authorize it,
I highlight that.
I'll put that in the ad, height and size.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm gonna ask him to write a clearer memo to bullet point it out why this is. It's because it's 1,500 square feet, because it's like you called out 19 feet high, like, so it's not any confusion in his memo. This is just the standard, I feel like draft memo when someone comes in for accessory use and they're denied. That's just like the standard letter, which includes We either qualify for 700 or 15 or both, but it should be and or, and you include both.
The guy might have it so high, he might have to put clearance lights on there for the airplanes.
Or you could have the zoning officer attend, but if he doesn't want to, or if you don't want to
You
pay
can.
for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you. My understanding of our contract with the zoning officer is that we pay him by the hour. So we could have him come if you want him to come, just tell Jamie so she can make sure he's available.
And I wrote a note for him to write a more detailed memo.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we can just go with that for now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, just more detail.
Like,
Yeah.
come some type
Yeah.
of, okay.
Just to get the clarification on
Yeah.
the actual height of that.
Right, and maybe see the inside, what it looks like, so he can clarify that it is 2 stories. And what would you be using the upper space for? Just storage? Make sure you're not using it as accessory living or anything like that.
Not that we've had that question.
No.
Yes, yeah. Just nice to spell it all out.
Right. That would be my first question. If he doesn't say what he's gonna use the building for.
Mhm.
Doesn't have another kitchen. Are you gonna have an apartment up there, or in-law suite or something?
Yeah. Wait a minute, you got a toilet, toilet in the corner?
Don't need
on the
surprises
first
like
floor,
that.
Second floor?
Well, I don't wanna find out the night of the hearing that's what's going on.
Yeah. All right. All right, item B, George Diddon's Greenhouse Road Closure Request.
We received a road closure request from Didden's Greenhouse that they would like to hold an event on Friday, June 12th from 3 to 7. And they would just ask, are asking permission for the road to be closed. They stated that they're not using Butler Avenue, like they're not gonna have any of the event on Butler Avenue. But they just are safety for people walking across Butler Avenue. So they're asking council to consider this evening, allowing them to close Butler Avenue down. I just made it from 2 to 8, like an hour before and an hour after the event, so they can clean up. They do know they've closed it down before. They're responsible for blocking off the road, for having trucks, for safety, for events. So if this is permitted, I certainly will include the police department in the conversations with them, so everyone can be on the same page.
Are they gonna have a plant sale or something like that? Do you know what they're having?
No, she just she kind of communicated with Lindsay and sent this to Lindsay, and Lindsay just let me know. And this is all the information that she provided.
Okay, I was just curious.
Do you know if the police department would have any sort of a problem from their end with that road closure? Offhand?
Offhand, nothing I can think of. The only thing is they had to have access for emergency vehicles.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the only condition.
Okay.
And I'm assuming the closure, I'm kind of looking at the map right now, would be inside the property. So where the properties end, that's where the closure would be on both ends of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
when I remember when they did it for was it their 100th anniversary?
Yeah,
or maybe
125th.
It was whenever it was, they kind of shut it down past the house that was on the 2 houses that were on the corner of Butler and Talmenton. They put a large fire truck across the road there and then a truck at the other end on Vine Street a little bit in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Did Steve have any questions about it? Is he good?
No, he always says the same, even during the day, especially when they're busy with like Easter flower sales and things. Like people driving up and down the street, they do walk across the street very frequently. So it's like, he was fine with it. As long as I said, yeah, we'll let the police know and just work that out.
Okay, item C, the electric system authorized the electrical contractor list.
We had a brief meeting, a month or so ago with the Utilities Committee, and we talked about, Hatfield Borough has a list of authorized, electrical contractors that are allowed to work on our system. That list is from 2019, and we have not updated that list since then. So in speaking with the Utilities Committee, they authorized, myself to write a request for qualifications to electrical contractors in the area. We posted it on the borough website, advertised it through PMEA. Steve reached out individually to those that have done business with us in the past or ones that he knew of that may be interested in doing business with us. And the list that we received was the 5 businesses that are attached. We're asking tonight to authorize this list. The reason this list is also important is we are going through the grid resilience grant. We received the pole replacement grant, and as part of the grant documents, they asked if we had authorized electrical contractors that were available to work on our system.
Because as part of that, you have to go out to bid, but a lot of times if you have authorized users, especially when you're doing maintenance on a system that you own, you can use those contractors who you've already worked with who are authorized to work on your system. So we talked to her, the representative, and said, hey, our list is from 2019, and was like, hey, we'll talk to utilities, and utilities gave us the authorization to update that. It's good to update anyway, just so we have good, rates, now we know what we're being charged. They provided rate schedules for all of us. We checked all the references. There are, previously, I know that Car and Duff was on the list and Danella was on the list and Eddie's, but I'm glad to see Augustino and Hinkles and McCoy are two new that were not on our list before. So, and the references check out. They have done municipal work, and a lot of them do work for PICO and PPNL. So we're just asking council to consider approving this list tonight, and then we can include that in our grid resilience grant application as well. It's just the filing that we have, like we got the award, we just have to sign all the agreements and everything, and then include this list with the documents.
Now, does this include both contracted work and emergency work?
Yes.
Or is that separate?
No, it includes both. It was for both contracted and emergency, and it was both for secondary and primary electric. So they're both, and all the rate sheets that we have, which we just did not publicize because they're proprietary to their company. You'll be happy to look at them. I have them with me. It listed out like emergency work, or if somebody calls in on a Sunday, obviously that's more expensive on Monday at 8 a.m. So it lists all of that. It breaks it out, emergency and contracted work.
So we have rate schedules for each of those.
Yes, each individual, if it was an emergency or contracted work.
All right. Any questions on it? Any comments to be made? All right, thank you. All right, item D, the Hatfield Department May report.
Further to add.
Nothing further?
This week.
No excitement, huh?
No, like I said, the last meeting, we did have a successful pedestrian safety program enforcement detail that was paid for through a PennDOT grant, so that is planning to still continue over the next couple of months.
Nice to know that there's no excitement going on, like craziness. All right. All right, item 8, old business, resolution 20, resolution,
Thank
one
you.
more time.
I think I'm good. I think
Three's the charm.
I sneeze in multiples, so it's really weird. I don't know why.
Resolution 2026-07, recognizing National EMS Week.
This resolution is an annual resolution that Borough Council and the mayor adopt, just to recognize National EMS Week. That is May 17th through the 23rd, and it's on for consideration as an action item this evening. If it's approved, we will, as always, send a copy to the MSC. I thank them for their service.
Questions on that? All right. Item B, resolution 2026-08, recognizing Public Works Week.
This again is an annual resolution that Borough Council and the mayor adopt, recognizing National Public Works Week, which is also May 17th through the 23rd. On for consideration as an action item.
Yeah.
Our guys are working real hard. Parks look great.
So question, we
Yeah.
don't have to recognize Steve specifically, right?
It's just,
I'm just making sure that, yeah, okay, just making sure.
You're gonna do full light. All right, item.
he's working a lot,
He has,
Yeah. Down
so,
a man or a woman, they're down a boy, so.
Plus he's an injured warrior now with
Yes.
with that finger.
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, I saw the fingers.
All right, item C, resolution 2026-09, the closure of certain borough roads for the Founder's Day celebration.
This resolution authorizes the closure of Cherry Street and Union Street for our Founder's Day celebration on June 13th, 2026. The road will be closed from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On for consideration as an action item this evening.
Questions or comments? Item D, ABP investments for 43 Roosevelt, the electric escrow release request.
ADP Investments, Art Curling has had some electric work done that actually
Hatfield Borough paid for upfront in the amount of 18,498. So I asked him if we could do an electric escrow request so we can get reimbursed our 18,498, and it's on for consideration as an action item this evening. I will highlight that 2 of the units are occupied. I think 1 North Gerard, 101 and 102, and then 3 North Gerard, 101 and 102 also passed their final, and they should be occupied soon.
So there were no issues then with either one of the units.
No, and I did see he put in, and they were issued temporary UNOs. He did put in a final escrow for Chad to consider. Chad's just on vacation this week, so I assume something will come at the June meeting to kind of wrap part of this up outside of his like maintenance.
And they're being offered for sale, not rental?
They are rentals.
Oh, they're rentals.
They are, yes. I think when we first had a conversation back a while ago, he was unsure. I remember we talked about it at a council meeting and kind of didn't really kind of say yay or nay. But they are rentals because they came in to set up their electric account with us today. Like one of the people came in today, and I just know he was talking about, he tried to go for the other unit, but this was the only one that was available.
All right. Item 9, action items. I need a motion to consider resolution 2026-07, recognizing National EMS Week.
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, item B. A motion to consider resolution 2026-08, recognizing Public Works Week.
So
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Weiss, seconded by Councilperson Burns. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item C, a motion to consider resolution 2026-09, the closure of certain borough roads for the borough's Founder's Day celebration.
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item D, a motion to consider the electric escrow release number 1 for ABP Investments, 43 Roosevelt, in the amount of $18,498.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Weiss, seconded by Councilperson Burns. All those in favor? Aye. Item E, a motion to consider advertising a conditional use hearing for 332 Edgewood Drive for an oversized garage for June 17th, 2026 at 7 p.m.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We do have an executive session for later this evening.
Mr. President, there's ones on the second page as well. Additional action item?
What do I know? Sorry. Used to have it one page here. Item F, a motion to consider George Didden Greenhouse road closure request for Butler Avenue for June 12th, 2026 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Motion.
Second?
And a motion from Councilperson Weiss, seconded by Councilperson Ferguson. All those in favor?
Direct that?
yeah, it was.
So-
Saida.
It was say,
Sorry.
yeah, no. So,
Okay, my apologies.
Get her in the minute.
yes,
did,
yes. Do we need to correct that or? do it
Yeah, I
again?
did. I wrote,
Oh, you did?
I wrote it
All
on.
right.
My apologies. Item G, a motion to consider approving the electrical contractor list of authorized contractors to perform work on the borough electric system.
Second.
I have a, yes, I have a motion by Councilperson White, seconded by Councilperson Burns. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item H, a motion to consider advertising a public hearing for the core commercial text amendment application submitted by WB Homes Land Acquisitions LP at 41 North Market Street for June 17th, 2026 at 7 PM.
I'll make that motion.
Wait, a question first. Since we got the letters that we got, now, if we don't do anything tonight so we can discuss it, does that do anything?
Yeah, I'm not gonna have time to advertise it.
Okay,
And here's why, because remember in the summer, you only meet once a month.
right.
And so your next meeting will be too late for
Okay,
me to advertise.
that's
have to
why I was
advertise
asking.
for
Okay,
2 weeks. However, you can have the letters introduced at the hearing and discuss them then,
okay.
or
Yeah.
between now and then.
So just because we approve this,
We're approving just the advertising.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
So that's all we're approving this. Okay,
correct.
right.
Okay,
So I'll second that,
Okay, I'm sorry, who?
Jason.
Okay. I have a motion by Jason Ferguson, seconded by Councilperson Burns. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have an executive session this evening.
One last thing, motion to do the bills.
I'm not awake.
It's okay.
It was
It's the
hot.
rain, that's why.
Well, you're getting all
It
your
was hot
cookies
today.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want to pay the bills. All right, item 10. Need a motion to approve the payment of the bills. Any questions on any of the bills?
I'll make that motion.
We'll just draw your attention that, HTMA first quarter 2026 wastewater treatment bill, 193.81, highest we've ever paid. Highest 2020 was 173, roughly 170 in 2024. I've reached out to Pete Dorney. We're kind of working through it to see, did any of the organic levels change? Is there infiltration into our system somewhere? Like why it happened? So I will agree to pay the bill. And if something comes out of the investigation, we certainly will work out some type of credit or something like that. But we know we have to pay the bill, but we are looking into it, investigating it, because we've never had at that high bill, especially for first quarter. Normally average is like 140s.
Oh.
They raised.
They did not. He said it has something to do with possibly like the organic compounds that are being triggered by, so. And we're trying to talk about looking down at the metering pit, maybe putting a new meter or doing like a meter calibration at the metering pit at Public
I
Works.
think maybe that's.
Yeah, it's just to see, and if that, we did do calibration and the numbers came down, maybe it's calibrated wrong. Or we just had it calibrated less than a year ago. Was it calibrated long prior to that? We should have been paying more all along. That could also be come up, so, yeah, we're looking into it. I just wanted to draw it to your attention because it's like, extremely high for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madam Solicitor, they can't retroactively charge us, right?
Within 4 years, they could. Yeah,
Okay.
that's statute of limitations on a contract claim, and this is a contract with them. The other thing is the borough has done a lot of work on I&I, infiltration and inflow.
We have.
So they should have gone down as opposed to going
Yeah.
up, okay?
For some reason, I'm thinking that we had a lot of rain this past spring.
Maybe the snow melting?
Yeah, 'cause-
I don't know.
yeah, because I mean, this year we did have a lot of snow compared to for a few years there, we had barely any snow, and this year we had a lot, so.
The state's still in the drought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is,
And it's moving into here.
right.
so.
All I'm saying is I know we did a lot of I&I work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we should just check. That's all.
All right, and where were we now? We had a motion to approve the bills.
I made a motion, yes.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Hawk. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now do we have an executive session for this?
Briefly,
All
or
right.
at least brief from my perspective.
Yeah, briefly,
Yeah.
So
litigation personnel.
we have a motion then to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming this evening. Stay cool.